His brilliant mind sparked enlightening conversations, and his fiery passion set those near him glowing. And like the light from a flame, Nick shared his light with us, and so together we're going to share our light with him. Together we're going to be lighting a communal flame in which we'll each light our own candles or lanterns. This is an opportunity, as you light your own, to share thoughts and poems, whatever your heart would like, with the group. We'll be making sure that each person's turn is respected with silence, open hearts, and open ears.
A message from Mr. and Mrs. L.S. Llewelyn-Smith. Yesterday, Mr. Jones and Mrs. Holden came to our home in the Aurora Valley to bring a large envelope full of the most beautiful cards and messages from you all. We loved all the pictures, but most importantly, your kind messages. You made us feel very happy and much loved. Our big Nick knew people all around the world, and we are only learning now just how many people he touched or changed in his unique way. We have strangers writing to us who've never met Nick but say they've heard of him through a friend or a friend of a friend, and they feel sad that they will not have the opportunity to sit down and chat with him. Each and every day, Nick set out to meet new people, to say encouraging words, and to make people feel good about themselves so they could achieve anything they wanted. He gave the best cuddles in the world. And was always ready to help a stranger. As a young boy, Mrs. L.S. often lost him in the supermarket. When she found him, there he'd be, pushing the trolley for an older person, or helping them get an item off the shelf. He helped look after other children with disabilities on Saturday morning with Mrs. L.S. so their parents could go shopping. He helped deliver Meals on Wheels to elderly people who couldn't cook for themselves. He'd rush ahead and hold doors open for people. He just loved being kind and thoughtful. When he lived in Manly and Sydney, the neighbors in the street didn't talk to each other. So Nick thought, this is no good. I'll have to change that. He went around the supermarkets and gathered up boxes of strawberries and other fruits and turned them into jam. Then he took his basket and knocked on doors up and down the street and introduced himself so people would talk next time he saw them. Soon after, he gained permission to have the street blocked off at each end and hosted a street party for all home. On the same day, he taught people how to compost. And how to make new soil so that everyone could grow some veggies in their backyard. His next project was to turn his front lawn into a verge garden where the locals could meet to grow vegetables together. Nick turned his street into one big family rather than many families living separate lives, which I feel he did here too. We have letters from people saying they met Nick on a park bench or in a marketplace or on the top of a mountain or walking up a bush track, and he made them feel like they had known each other forever. Many of those people are writing us letters now. What made Nick so special? Well, he was a funny fellow who had confidence in who he was and what he could do. He wore funny clothes sometimes and made people look at him in funny ways. But he would just smile and say, "Hi, I'm Nique," and shake their hand or give them a hug. He would mix all sorts of colors, patterns, and textures just to make people feel happy. If Nick were here today, he'd be sitting on those steps and asking you lots of questions about yourselves and what makes you feel happy. Nick loved the environment and worked with lots of children around the world to teach them how to keep our planet healthy for them and their children and their children's children. He wrote letters to the government asking them to protect the Great Barrier Reef, the whales, our beaches, and to stop making plastic bags. I know that Nick would ask you all to bring lovely fresh fruit and vegetables to school in nature's packaging instead of junk food in plastic wrappers. He has dived around the world, helping to clean up plastic in our oceans and rubbish off our beaches. He would ask you all to become little environmental warriors each and every day of your lives. Mrs. Ellis and Mr. Ellis and Big Alistair are sending their love to each and every one present at this assembly today. We've lost our big Nick, but I have all of you to gain strength from and love. I'm missing you all very much and will be back as soon as I feel strong enough. In true Nick style, he'd love nothing more than for all who are present today to turn around and hug the person around them. And then it says, sorry, teachers. So let's just do that. Pass you. Sorry, the hot wax. Perfect. The fire.
I have 3 pieces that I'm going to share tonight. One is from Italy, another from Chile, and the last from Australia. Each of these people were a part of our Nelson family this past winter, just as Nick was. And in a way, this is my way of bringing us all back together in this time of need, in this time of remembering. We were all a family. And what I wish most of all in this moment is that we have a chance to be back together again, just for one last time. So these are for you, my wicked, awesome, crazy, exasperatingly unique, older Australian brother Nick. You will be loved forever and always. So my first one's from Rowan, who was Nick's best friend. And you guys might have already read it. He posted on Facebook earlier, but he wants me to read it. So I brought a coffee. Said, Erica will be sending one small Oso double latte with almond milk into Kootenay Lake for you tonight, brother. From the lake, it will meet the river to meet the ocean and find its way slowly across the Pacific to meet me back on the east coast of Australia. A coffee might seem weird, but how many hundreds of epic coffee dates did we have? When we were drinking good coffee, our conversations were next level. We were poets, explorers, lovers, comedians, crazed men, philosophers, revolutionaries, rebels, artists, inventors, businessmen, students of Mother Earth, old men telling stories, young men planning lives, single men thinking of love, men in love thinking of children. We were trying to fix the hangover. We were planning that night's party. We were people watching, or we were probably being watched by people. We were journalists, astronauts, circus clowns, architects, bakers, chefs, and gardeners. We were pro skaters, snowboarders, surfers, world-class climbers, bikers and sailors, gold medal kayakers, slackliners, and jugglers. We could build the universe in our coffee cups, and then drink our wishes and crazy plans into our bodies forever. Well, for about 20 minutes, till the race to the bathroom was on. And I have one from Coda, who's our little Chilean friend. Nico, my darling. I remember this year, at the beginning of January, you wrote me and asked me where I was. And you told me that you were going to come to Nelson in about 10 days. Right from that moment, I got extremely excited because I knew how rad that was going to be. To have you be part of our travel family was going to be the best addition to an amazing winter season, and sure thing it was. I remember telling everyone how funny you were, and what a good and free spirit was about to arrive, one of the coolest cats out of all. After you arrived, I guess everyone understood what I meant. I sincerely feel that your presence makes things so much better. Out of anything, you make a joke, and out of nowhere, you come up with so many interesting things to talk about. I can say now, after been 26 years of my life living on this planet, that you, my friend, are one of the most amazing dudes I have ever met in my entire existence.
You're here.
And I feel so lucky and blessed that I got to spend so many good moments with you. Brother, you broke all of our hearts by leaving us. But I feel these days, when we miss you the most, that all those broken hearts become one. And just one huge heart missing you. Oh, I can't even see. And sending you all of our love. We adore you, Nick. You have left a trace in every one of us. Even the ones that thought you couldn't write, even the ones that thought that could write emotive words in a paragraph are doing it better than Shakespeare. Even ones better than Bukowski. You have turned us all into little poets, writing the most beautiful texts for the most beautiful person. Love you forever. Okay. I also have one from Tim, who's in Australia right now. And Europe, Nique poem, which was also posted on Facebook. Mr. Running Man. Dearest Nick, so soon departed. I feel our friendship has only just gotten started. This hole inside my heart is real. A piece of it I'm happy for you to steal. Your infectious smile always cheered me up. You drifted with the wind, always going with the flow. Epic shred sessions when the snow would blow. I take solace in the fact you died in the act, in nature, in Mother Earth's precious hands. Green forest, white mountains, golden sands. Far and wide you roam these lands, leaving behind you, as you go, a special little glow. To the ones who got to see your loving harmony, you were sometimes quite cheeky, taking unwanted food, not so sneaky. I love your style, dude. Never once were you rude. You paint your nose hot pink, and you always been down for a drink. My last words were to you, I love you, my brother, and it was so true. Life won't be the same. Our reunion never came. Onwards on your journey, it's out of our control. This place is no destination for your big, bright soul. Out into the universe must be your next plan. Peace and love to you, Mr. Running Man.
Right now, and how when we were chanting and singing together, I could see Nick up in the stars, and he was humbled by all of us, and he just, he's so grateful that we could all be together, and I just see him in his peace, and the only thing wrong is that he's missing all of us now, but yeah, he's with us.
When life throws us a curveball and we are buried in grief, we say, well, that's the pits. As if we've feasted on plums and suddenly run aground, teeth bearing down hard on the end of another mouth-watering moment. But do we scold the pits? Do we throw them into a fire? Can we not still taste the plum's glory as we lick our lips and tongue our fingertips? Like the last touches of life's abstract painting, the pits. How lovely, how sweet a plum must be, that at the end we suck on the pits and take them home and plant them, knowing this hard memento will someday bring more sweetness to us again. Nick planted a seed in all of us. His eyes opened up our soil, the soil of our souls, while his friendship and words watered our hearts. Then he would hug us. He gave us long, honest hugs. Like a gardener preps the soil bed, and tucks everything in before the winter comes. Here's to Nick, the pits, and the hope for growth he gave us all.
Dancing the way he did, and just those memories will always live on. Love Nick.
Well, I already have one of those candles, so I'm just going to say something right now. The very first time I ever met Nick was in an audience, much like this, a gathering of wonderful people. And he's the most enthusiastic audience member that I've ever met. He was hooting and hollering in Expressions Cafe.
Didn't hate it. It's not shit.
Well, it's not shit. You're wonderful.
That was the first time I met Nick too. It was at our show at Expressions Cafe, and he was front and center.
Front and center, loud as can be, in that tiny, tiny little space.
He was practically in our laps.
Yes, exactly. As though he wanted to crawl into your laps. And sometimes he did. Oftentimes he would crawl directly into your lap. But he was always the most enthusiastic audience member, no matter what kind of thing it was, whether it was a conversation that you were just having with him, he was your biggest fan. Or if you were a 3-year-old trying to ignore him in a grocery store, he would have none of that. He demanded your attention. Yeah, he was a beautiful person, and I'm blessed with him.
Just on a similar note, I met Nick at the studio when I was working in a coffee shop, and he offered a trade, Nick him a free coffee for an interpretive dance. He pulled up a really tall stool and stood on it for a really awkward amount of time and danced. Like, the music was off, it was silent, and everyone was staring at him. And like full-on interpretive dance, not just like swaying slightly. Like, he was into it. 10 minutes or more.
I hope that earned you a coffee.
I can share something about interpretive dance with Nick. I don't think most people can. I got back from work one day, and him and my neighbours from Windsor were all dressed up in usual ridiculous Nick attire, and it's like, right, are you ready? We're going down to the rec centre to flash mob. Everyone working out. And so next, like 50 minutes later, we were like lined up behind the window, and then he had like GoPros set up. It's like elaborate scheme. And like we leapt out. It was ridiculous. Classic Nick stuff.
At the community center. We heard him planning it forever.
Yeah.
But what I really want to say, it's just that Nick really loved and cherished his friends, and you guys were just like everyone who knew him and knows him, and a huge part of what made him what he was. I don't know. I think he probably would still perform like he did without an audience, but I think those around him who gave him their love and attention were really important to him. And yeah.
I'm gonna read the letter from Nick's family now. To all who are in attendance tonight to honor our son. Although we're on the other side of the world, we can feel your presence. We know you're sharing our grief and loss, but also incredible joy of having had Nick in your lives. Saying thank you isn't enough to express how grateful we are that you had accepted and called him a mate. We've often been asked, what did you do as parents to raise the boys you did? As far as we're concerned, we just did what we did and loved them. We've chatted with Nick's beloved brother Alistair since his return from New Zealand in an attempt to find an answer. He confirmed our thoughts. Yes, it was growing up in the Aurora Valley, in Coffs Harbour, hinterland. Yes, it was having 100 acres to play in and explore. Yes, it was having koalas, wallabies, enchidas, platypus, pythons, and other native animals to observe. Yes, it was attending small country schools. Yes, it was being surrounded by our close-knit valley community. Yes, it was being given the freedom to hike Wally's Knob. The boys thought it was hilarious having that name attached to part of our property. Yes, it was sitting around the dinner table to talk whilst we ate. Yes, it was having a veggie patch. Yes, it was growing up on healthy home cooking. Yes, it was the time we invested in their learning. Yes, it was stargazing with us. Yes, it was being read to. Yes, it was being tucked into bed and told they were loved. Yes, it was opening the door at an early age for them both to travel. Yes, it was having an open dialogue policy. Yes, it was having an open door policy. Yes, it was being trusted to venture alone. I could go on. Allie feels many of their qualities were and are quite simply innate. Nick first traveled overseas at 18 and continued until now. He experienced living with an Indio tribe in the wilds of the Darien rainforest in Panama, surfing in Indonesia, traveling through centuries.
It's too much advertising. Commercial.
Hurry, everybody wants to ask
No, I'd rather you hold it.
This one's working.
So I just wanted to smudge off the lanterns before we put them out, just in case that, anyone had, any thoughts or prayers or anything, that are attached to them that maybe don't need to be, that can go out in like the purest way. These thoughts and speech are prayers. I'm just going to smudge them off, and then I'm going to put it up here with another one beside it. And if anyone wants to come off and smudge themselves off too, you're more than welcome.
I will be an open channel, moving with your guidance. I will be an open channel, trying to see through your eyes, the way you view the world, the way you love the world, the way you leaped right into each moment. Oh, your spirit lives on, it will shine forever. Oh, your spirit lives on forever, part of the universe. You are here. You are here. You are here. Everlasting. You are here. You are here. You are here. Everlasting. Oh, your spirit lives on, it will shine forever. Your spirit